Our extended coverage tonight continues until 2 o'clock this morning of that mass shooting that occurred at 10/12 Tuesday night in Chesapeake at the Walmart off Battlefield Boulevard.
We have been learning more information as the night has gone on, exactly what transpired in the store. The last that we got from police, like Tom mentioned, was 10/12 Tuesday night is when they were called out to that Walmart because of an active threat. You are taking a live look at the scene right now. Police told us that when they arrived on the scene, they began a tactical movement, tactical entrance into that building. Many officers responded to the scene, and when they entered, they found multiple fatalities and multiple injuries. City officials and police say they believe there was one shooter who is deceased. We do not know at this point in time how that shooter died. So we are still working to find out that information. We have learned, again, multiple fatalities and multiple people who are injured taken to area hospitals. Leo Kaczynski, who is Chesapeake police officers, he is the public information officer there, said it is an all-hands-on-deck situation, and they are going through this investigation piece by piece. That includes going through the entire building step by step at this point in time.
And I'm sure they are still doing that now, although we can't see inside the building. But FBI and ATF are also on their way. As a matter of fact, FBI is there, according to our Brett Hall, who reported earlier tonight. They are interviewing people, both employees and people who were in the store at the time, to get their version of events. And we also have 5 people who were taken to Centera Norfolk General Hospital for their injuries. We heard from a woman whose brother was a 20-year employee at Walmart who's being treated at that hospital for a gunshot wound. Craig Loper talked to her earlier tonight, and police did say that they believe the gunman, or they say the gunman is dead, the lone shooter in this, and they do not believe the public is in any danger at this point. However, this investigation continues. And when you look at this live shot at this massive parking lot, Lena, it is such a different view than what we had at about 11 o'clock tonight, when they had many more police cars there, all with their lights going, and officers going in and officers, doing their job to secure the area. It looks like a much different scene. Now, this was taken earlier. This illustrates my point that I was making.
You can see the police presence is still very heavy at the Walmart.
Yes, it is.
But it was definitely amplified a few hours ago as officers were first arriving on the scene and first beginning that investigation. So it has lessened slightly, but is not completely gone. As you can see, that perimeter has moved up a little bit closer to the Walmart at this point in time. Now, our Brett Hall is at the Sam's Club, which is right down the road, and Brett was sharing some of the reactions from employees at the Walmart. He said it started with shock, and then it just turned to anguish and tears and pain. A lot of these employees said it was like a family for them. Even though it's a big company and a big store, it really felt like a family, and this is a devastating night for them. It was a shift change around 10 o'clock. They were supposed to close the store down at 11, and then this happened, and things will never be the same for them, really. Brett also mentioned that these employees were speaking one-on-one with Chesapeake Police and the FBI as this investigation goes through. They were talking about who was in the store, who wasn't in the store, what they know, and all that sort of information, passing along to investigators as they work to determine why this happened, what led up to this tragedy inside of this Walmart tonight.
That is still the big question tonight. We just don't have all those facts yet, and we'll have to wait for those to become available. But police do say to avoid this area. Do not go here if you want information about your loved ones. Instead, go a mile away, about 7 minutes down the road, to the Chesapeake Conference Center at 700 Conference Center Drive. Now, we are working to get another live shot from Centera Norfolk General Hospital.
In the meantime, though, I think we have some more sound from the woman that Craig interviewed at Centera Norfolk General Hospital. Her loved one was injured, so here's what she had to say.
The fact that he was talking, my parents who live in Florida also called him, and he spoke with them very quickly. He said that they were all working on him, so that's kind of comforting to know that, he's able to text and able to talk a little bit. Just, he literally was clocked in 10 minutes, you just never know.
And let's go to our Craig Loper, who spoke with that woman. Craig?
Yeah, hey guys. She seemed very composed, if you could tell through the interview right there. Her and a few of her family members in good spirits as they are sitting and waiting news about her brother. She said earlier in that interview that they typically do Thanksgiving dinner on Wednesdays because her brother works Black Fridays late Thursday nights every year. And she said he's been working there about 20 years now. So their family tradition is on Wednesday. They were having some sort of Zoom call as a family through the computer together. And they were speaking around 9:15, 9:30 before he went in for his shift at 10 o'clock. And then as you just heard there in the soundbite, sort of before you knew it, they got another call from him, and the call that no one could expect at the time, that he had been shot. So as we sit here now, they're basically on standby. The family is about his status in the hospital. She said she worked in the medical field. I believe she said she was a nurse and used to work here at Centerra, Norfolk. So like I said, incredibly composed, and they are hopeful that her brother makes a full recovery. And at the end of that interview, I asked, what kind of gift would that be for Thanksgiving? If he's out and well. She said it would be the best, obviously, and very grateful to have him happy and healthy. They were Chesapeake natives. They've been here for a long time, and obviously an incredibly tragic situation, but one that they look like her brother might come out of, and they're very grateful for that.
All right, Craig Loper reporting live from Centerra Norfolk General Hospital. Yeah, I mean, these are the stories that cut to the heart.
Right.
The people who are affected by these tragedies, how that family's lives
Right.
have turned upside down on a time when we're supposed to be grateful and thankful that we have each other. Now we're dealing with something totally different. How wonderful it would be to make a full recovery.
Right.
It would lend a whole new meaning for Thanksgiving for that particular family.
We do know Centerra Norfolk General Hospital is a level 1 trauma center, and there are many capable hospitals all across the region. We don't have a number exactly on how many people at this point that we know have been injured, but we know 5 people were taken to Centerra Norfolk General Hospital. Hospital officials there have confirmed that to us. So we know at this point at least 5 people have been injured. You're taking a live look again at the scene at the Walmart. This is what it looks like right now. We are now more than 3 hours, about 3.5 hours since the initial call came out for this active shooter scene at the Walmart in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Blvd. Definitely just a tragic night for so many people tonight.
Yeah, multiple casualties and multiple fatalities. That's about the most concrete classification we could get out of police tonight, because they are still going through that massive store because they want to make sure they have this investigation under control before they release concrete numbers. You're getting a look again at the video we shot earlier tonight. This was shortly after the call came in, and we noticed the difference in the activity that you're seeing in the parking lot compared to earlier tonight. Still, this investigation, though, far from over tonight, and it's going to continue throughout the evening. We got this tweet from Commonwealth's attorney Ramin Fadahi, who says, "My heart breaks for the citizens of Chesapeake and the Chesapeake Police Department, where I prosecuted for 4 years and where my father practiced neurosurgery for over 30 years. I pray for the victims, for their families, and for peace." We all want peace, especially this time of year.
And for those who are waking up to hearing this news, unable to get in touch with loved ones who may have been shopping or working in the Walmart at the time of the shooting at 10:15 last night, Chesapeake City officials are asking you to go to the Chesapeake Conference Center. That's at 700 Conference Center Drive. Do not go to the Walmart at this point in time. There is a family center at the Chesapeake Conference Center. Our John Dowding has been out there, says families are slowly starting to arrive, and of course we are respecting their privacy at this time, but there are chaplains there, there's law enforcement there as well to provide resources and provide information to families. There is no hotline phone number for people to call at this point in time, so if you do need information, you do physically have to go to the Chesapeake Conference Center at this point in time. But again, avoid the Walmart. Officials, law enforcement, police are asking people to stay away from the Walmart right now as they continue to investigate. As we've seen in these live shots that we've had, it is still an active scene. There is still police tape up, so do not go there right now.
And here's what Walmart is saying tonight. They have released a statement. We shared it with you earlier, but those of you just tuning in, this is Walmart now. We are shocked at this tragic event at our Chesapeake, Virginia store. We are praying for those impacted, the community and our associates. We're working closely with law enforcement, and we are focused on supporting our associates. Now, there's more than one Walmart in Chesapeake. I want to reiterate the fact this is the one off Battlefield Boulevard at Sam's Circle, and not the, I think there are two Walmarts in Chesapeake, I believe. That one is close by, but this is the one we're talking about off Battlefield Boulevard and in Sam's Circle.
Our Brett Hall has been there. He has been the one near the Walmart employees. We're going to go back out to Brett now. Brett, how's it going?
Well, I just had a very, the worst thing that you cringe to see. An individual came up and saying, please tell me she's okay. Please tell me she's okay. I'm not going to say the name right now since I don't want to alarm anybody else, but his fiance, it works the night shift and in the back of the store, and he has not heard from her. And this is as the shooting happened at 10 o'clock, and he's just a wreck. People have been told to go to the convention center, but that's just the hardest thing to hear, even as a reporter, of course, because we always try to help with information, and they just don't know. Many people left all their belongings, so there could be a phone nut, with them, or there's a range of possibilities. But there's still that urgent search to see if people are okay, and the police are telling people to go to the convention center. As far as the details of the shooting, I spoke with a Walmart employee who works the front, who said that the shooting occurred in the back of the store. He said he heard it and immediately ran outside and called 911. This happened around the shift change. As I think I told you, we were told that people were coming in for the 10 to 6:30 a.m. shift, stocking overnight. The store was slated to close at 11 o'clock, ahead of one of the busiest days for any grocery store, at the Walmart Superstore. Employees extremely shaken up. Most of them have now been loaded onto a bus to go over to the convention center. The ones that remain here that didn't have a ride, they just keep saying, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. As the time goes on, the initial shock just is turning to grief. Many of them say they know who did this. We are not going to name that person until police does. Obviously, that person is dead who shot several people. But the employees alike also at this point don't know who has been seriously injured, who has been killed. They are looking for information as well. I think I saw from one of my colleagues that we're not going to get information on names ourselves until later on this morning. This large scene where the FBI is assisting, Virginia Beach Police assisting Chesapeake Police is the lead, trying to figure out exactly what occurred. But again, the new information I was able to get from a witness is that he heard the multiple gunshots coming from the back of the store, and he ran out, immediately called 911. People still, this individual, the fiance of this individual, said that if the shooter is who people say they are, they know this person. And I'm not going to go into some of the other things they said, because we don't know if they're true, about the relationship between these individuals or the reputation of this shooter. This is not the time for that, but they just want to know if their loved one is okay, and that's really still several hours, just about going on 3 hours after the shooting, what people are looking for information for. That's really the latest I have out here right now. The bus actually just pulled away while I was on the phone with you, taking employees over to the convention center, Chesapeake Convention Center, off Greenbrier Parkway, over there by the regional building in the Wawa, if anyone's familiar. That is where concerned family is supposed to go. So.
Okay. Brett, thank you. I cannot imagine the fear that so many families the heartbreak that they are feeling tonight. One thing we do want to know, just in case anybody is Googling where to go, it is a Chesapeake Conference Center. That is what, you know, if you put it in your GPS, that's where you need to go.
700 Conference Center Drive.
Yes.
That's exactly where that is, a mile away from the scene. Now we're going to go to 10 on your side's Michelle Wolf, who's been there since the beginning of this in the Walmart parking lot. What's up, Michelle?
Yeah, so the scene has really scaled down since we got here hours ago. When we first got here, we saw more than 50 police vehicles just lining this parking lot. At this point, it's really scaled down. It's a much smaller scene as officers start to leave. I do know that sweeps are still going on at the Walmart Supercenter. They're just making sure that they haven't missed anybody who may have been hurt in this shooting. We also know from Centera that 5 people are being treated there with injuries from this shooting. We still don't have a clear number on how many people were shot. Chesapeake police say it will take some time to figure that out, but at this point they believe no more than 10 people have died from this shooting. There's still an active investigation. We know that the FBI and the ATF are now on scene assisting in this investigation. Tom and Lena.
All right, thank you, Michelle Wolf, reporting from Walmart. A very, very difficult night for everybody here, and I believe we have an interview we want to go to.
We have been talking all night about the Chesapeake Conference Center, where families who are searching for information should go. Our John Dowding spoke with a family member outside of the conference center. Here's what they had to say.
I'm afraid to imagine the ones that I believe may be injured. That's the thing that has me concerned, why I came here to see if I could find out any information, which I couldn't. So I have them and their families in prayer. You always say you don't think it would happen in your town, in your neighborhood, in your store, your favorite store. And that's the thing that has me shocked. And I've been on the phone with a few other friends who are former employees and customers. And we're all in just disbelief.
And that seems to be one of the big words that we're hearing from people who have been there, from Brett and Michelle, is disbelief at what's happening tonight in our community.
And we're going to stay at the conference center now because John Dowding is ready now with a live report for us. So John, what's the latest?
Yeah, so Tom, Lena, I actually just spoke with a woman who used to work at that Walmart almost 20 years ago. Her name is Camille Buggs. She came out here because she called that Walmart her second home. She worked there for a year, left, even went back there, worked again, and she still stayed in touch with the people she met there 20 years ago. She said she still frequents the Walmart as a customer. She now works at Greenbrier Mall here close by, but she still goes to that Walmart because she just kept saying to us that place to her, to so many of her coworkers, felt like home. She came here tonight to check in and see if she could learn any details about any of her friends who were still working there, but she's still waiting to hear from any of them. She's saying all the text messages, all those calls are going to voicemail, so hope and pray that she gets some good news from some of her friends who work there tonight. But again, a lot of the community out here trying to get answers, trying to check in on loved ones, trying to learn about whether or not that person they knew who either worked there or that they knew when they were going, you know, just as a customer, is okay. Now again, we will be keeping you updated. We are also still hearing more family members coming out. I hate to say this, but not long ago we heard family members walking out of here, tears, yelling, you know, upset. Obviously did not get the greatest news. Nobody wants to hear that type of news. Nobody should have to hear that type of news. But unfortunately, we have the latest mass shooting in America here in Chesapeake, Virginia, and that is what some family members are unfortunately having to learn about at this late hour, this day before Thanksgiving. Again, we'll continue to provide you any updates on air and online here from the convention center. But again, here's still an active scene here. We're also starting to see now a bus actually pull up from the Chesapeake Fire Department off in the off on the other side of this parking lot here. Again, still a police presence here of officers outside helping family members and providing them with answers to any questions they may have, as well as helping them inside. Camille, who we spoke to, she said to us that basically she went in, she gave them a name, and they asked if she was a family member of someone who worked there, of somebody who worked there themselves, or knew of was a loved one of somebody who worked there or believed somebody who was at the store at the time of this shooting. Now, again, Camille kind of just summed it up for us. That place for her felt like home, and for her to hear about what happened there, she said she is just in disbelief. Again, we'll continue to provide you updates throughout the evening, and starting at 4 on WAVY News 10. In Chesapeake, I'm John Dowding, 10 on your side.
All right, John, thank you very much. We're going to stay on the air until 2 o'clock. So for the next 10 minutes, we're going to be continuing our coverage, and then we're going to take a break and come back on at 4 o'clock this morning, give our news crew some chance to gather the information, talk to investigators, witnesses, and other people to bring this story some more life for you, to understand what's happening in more context. That's the word I was searching for, to bring you more information as it comes in.
And Chesapeake Police, Officer Leo Kaczynski, the public information officer, earlier said that there probably wouldn't be any definite numbers on fatalities or injuries until the morning. But of course, if any big developments come in over the night, we will update you. We have been talking a lot about the Chesapeake Conference Center and that whole area of Chesapeake where this all happened. So we'll send it over to our chief meteorologist, Jeff Edmondson, with a little bit more on that, Jeff.
Yeah, and just kind of a perspective, too, on, let me get my microphone turned on. A perspective, too, on where this location is for the city of Chesapeake. There's 4 Walmarts in the city of Chesapeake. There's one at Chesapeake Square, there's one at Grassfield, there's one near Hickory off Hillcrest Parkway, but the one we've been talking about is the one off of Battlefield Boulevard and also off of I-64. So this Walmart is right off of Battlefield Boulevard 64. Let's zoom in. It's this location right here. It's this building. Let me get on the green screen here. Right here. This is the Walmart. South of that Walmart immediately is an at-home furniture. There's also a dollar store in that area, and then a Sam's Club, which isn't too far away. That's this building right here with the kind of more colored roof. Kohl's is up in this area. There's a couple of restaurants in this region. There's a Chuck E. Cheese. There's a car wash place right here, also a Chick-fil-A in this area. This whole Sam Circle area, very busy, popular spot. Police advising you not to go in this area tonight. They want you to go, if you need information, to the Chesapeake Conference Center. Now, what does that area look like? Well, this is at Battlefield Boulevard right here at Sam Circle. So here's the freeway. Here's the entrance to the shopping area on Sam Circle, this road right there. Battlefield Boulevard continues farther to the south. Here's Volvo Parkway right here. So we're looking south. Battlefield Boulevard is open. That car there is headed south on Battlefield Boulevard. These headlights here are coming to the north. So those headlights are right here on this part of the road, heading right towards the intersection, going through it, just so you can kind of get a perspective. Battlefield Boulevard has been open throughout the night, and it will likely stay open. Just the shopping area is the area where it's closed. And again, don't go to that area if you're looking for information. Here's the Walmart right there. About a mile away, mile and a half away, is the Chesapeake Conference Center. It's off of Greenbrier Parkway. If you want to go to that, you're not going south. You're not going towards the Greenbrier Mall. You're going on the north direction towards the conference center. So just hop off the freeway or hop off Military Highway and head this direction. You'll want to go to Wood Lake Drive. There's a Wawa gas station right here. Very bright location, easy to spot. There's a motorcycle store right here. There's a car dealership right there. So you want to turn towards that Wawa. It's easy to see that from Greenbrier Parkway. You shouldn't miss it, especially this time of night without a lot of traffic. The Conference Center Drive then is just the next right. So you'll go down the road a little bit. It kind of curves a bit, so it might be a little hidden, but you'll see Conference Center Drive right there. And that's where you need to go for information, the Chesapeake Conference Center. Look for the building with that round entrance. It should be lit up. There's police in front of it. We were just reporting that there's a fire truck nearby, so it's a very active area. It should be easy to spot. There's also other hotels in this region too, so it can get a little bit dizzy in that area, but that should be easy enough to find. Again, we're talking about the Walmart right here off of 64 Battlefield Boulevard in the Greenbrier Essex Meadows area of Chesapeake. Tom, Lena?
All right, thank you, Jeff. And of course, we are covering this story since 10 o'clock tonight, about going on 4 hours now since the mass shooting at Walmart in Chesapeake off Battlefield Boulevard in the Sam Circle area. where several people are dead and several people injured. We don't have the numbers just yet, but we're going to get more information now.
Police have been updating us throughout the night, so we're going to listen into the last update we got from police officer Leo Kaczynski with Chesapeake.
So we go inside, and long story short, over the course of the next 30-45 minutes, we were able to find multiple fatalities and multiple injured parties. With the Chesapeake Fire Department, we were able to put rescue and tactical teams together to go inside to provide life-saving measures rapidly and quickly. And then through the course of the investigation, we believe was a single shooter, and we believe that shooter is deceased at this time.
Now, we don't have an exact number of the fatalities or the number of people injured, but Officer Kaczynski said multiple people have been taken to different hospitals throughout the region for those who have been injured.
Including 5 people going to Centera Norfolk General Hospital. And Craig Loper earlier talked with a sister of one of the victims who was shot, a man who worked at Walmart for 20 years. Let's listen.
The fact that he was talking, my parents who live in Florida also called him, and he spoke with them very quickly. He said that they were all working on him, so that's kind of comforting to know that. I mean, he's able to text and able to talk a little bit. Just he literally was clocked in 10 minutes. You just never know.
And of course, we're all hoping for the best for that particular individual and all of the people affected by this tonight. And for those people who are affected by this, especially family members and loved ones, they can go to the Chesapeake Conference Center. It's about a mile away from the scene of the shooting. It's about a 7-minute drive on 700 Conference Center Drive.
And that's where our John Dowding has been all night. He spoke to a woman just a little bit ago who said she's just in disbelief by what happened.
I'm afraid to imagine the ones that I believe may be injured. That's the thing that has me concerned, why I came here to see if I could find out any information, which I couldn't. So I have them and their families in prayer. You always say you don't think it would happen in your town, in your neighborhood, in your store, your favorite store. And that's the thing that has me shocked. And I've been on the phone with a few other friends who are former employees and customers, and we're all in just disbelief.
And that seems to be a word we're hearing, obviously, from that woman, but people Brett has spoken with earlier tonight, shock, horror, disbelief, just so many heartbreaking emotions tonight. And
so many people who have to keep it together, the people who are the first responders, the police and the firefighters who have to go through a scene like this, and including reporters. And 10 on your side's Michelle Wolf, one of the first ones on the scene tonight at the Walmart off Battlefield Boulevard. So Michelle, what's the latest on your end?
Yeah, so I mean, Tom and Lena, you've been saying it. We don't have an exact number of how many people were shot tonight. We don't know, and Chesapeake police won't know for a few more hours. So the most recent update you saw a little bit ago, that's the information we have, but we do know that 5 people are being treated for injuries at Centera Norfolk General. We know at least 2 people are dead, at least 2 people, one being the shooter and one that police confirmed there was somebody who was deceased outside the front entrance of the Walmart Supercenter. So that is what we know. Those are not total numbers. Again, we also know that no more than 10 people have died at this point. We're still learning a lot of information, and the spokesperson that we talked to with Chesapeake Police said it's been a few hours. They're still collecting information. The ATF is here, the FBI is here. This is going to take a long time to piece together what exactly happened. I spoke with a shopper over the phone. She was just buying the last few things she needed to make her Thanksgiving dinner. And as she was walking out of the store, heard a gunshot in the back of the store, thought, oh no, I don't think I heard that. Just kept shopping, was walking towards, the front of the store to leave because she was done, she paid. And then she saw a group of about 20, 30 people who were gathering, saying, run, run, there's a shooter, there's a shooter. We've also learned from some employees that the shooter was likely an employee of the Walmart. Police have not confirmed that yet, but these are employees who sent us videos, sent us Facebook Live videos immediately after the shooting. We're still piecing together a lot of this. This is a tough night for a lot of people, a very somber night, and right before the holidays. Tom and Lena.
And many of you may be getting up right now to head out to a loved one's home for Thanksgiving, and this is what you're getting right now, a mass shooting in Chesapeake at the Walmart off Battlefield Boulevard.
To reiterate what Michelle has said, there is a lot of information that we are still working to get, but if you are looking for information about a loved one, go to the Chesapeake Conference Center at 700 Conference Center Drive. That is the biggest piece of information we can give to those who are searching for answers tonight.
And we'll be back at 4 a.m.